What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Have More Than Money. Today, we are going to be diving into the do's and don'ts of product niches in high ticket dropshipping. And we're also going to be giving some product types that we personally really like in the high ticket dropshipping area.
Yeah, so, real quick, the don'ts, we don't use AliExpress. That's first and foremost. I get asked this question all the time. All the time people say, how do you sell such expensive stuff from AliExpress? How do you sell such expensive stuff from China? And the answer is we don't. Everything we sell is USA suppliers. There's no one website to just source all your products from. We work with legitimate brands. We call them ourselves and make real partnerships. Another don't is you can't sell things that have serious brand loyalty. So what do I mean by that? You can't sell Apple. You can't sell Sony. You can't sell, you really aren't going to get away selling TVs or stereo systems. Like, for some, I honestly can't explain why, but for some strange reason, you really just can't drop ship those products. Look, if you want to go ahead and try, by all means do it, but we're not going to recommend that. So some of the do's, you do want to sell, authoritative type brands in small or low key type niches. Now, where would you find these? Typically on Wayfair.com, go on Wayfair and literally just scroll through departments, click on it, filter by price, so you're looking at $1,000 plus, and then look at all the brands. Google the brands, and once you Google the brands, you'll find drop shippers, and then ultimately you can really just copy them. Mike, you want to discuss any other do's?
I really want to start with the don'ts. I think you kind of covered all of it. The big name brands. Don't try to sell clothing. Obviously, clothing isn't high ticket. That's considered low ticket. And that same thing goes. Don't try to close Versace as your first supplier in your high ticket store. It's not what we mean. I think the biggest don't is AliExpress. It's just, we don't touch it. We don't trust it for cheap products, inexpensive products. We're not going to trust it for $1,000 products.
Yeah.
And Jared, I know how you said there's no one place like an AliExpress that you go to find high ticket items. And so another reason, I'd say one of the bigger reasons that we love high tickets so much is this barrier of entry. And so, if you can just go onto a website and take them and copy and paste the product images and the descriptions and put it on your website, then what is stopping anyone from doing just that? Yeah. And so, a big takeaway, like I said, is this barrier of entry where you need to get approved to sell these high ticket suppliers. And usually the harder it is to get approved by a supplier, the more questions they ask about your business, it's usually a good sign that, the supplier sells a lot and they're not going to let any Joe Schmo sell their brand on your website.
Yeah. Guys, when we say to use Wayfair, we use it strictly for research. A lot of people think that we use Wayfair to buy the product and then we mark it up on our website. This is not a markup type business where you're scamming people out of the best price online. Everything we sell is for the best price online. And how do you guarantee that? By, you call real manufacturers up to land the real partnerships, and hopefully they have something called a map, which will essentially mean no one can list below a certain price. But here's another thing. As Mike mentioned, there's a barrier to entry, and not every supplier is just going to say yes to someone with no results, nothing to show for it at a demo store. So when you're first getting started, ultimately what you want to do is you want to look for product types on Google and Wayfair and look to see if other people are drop shipping. Now, you don't want to look for, you don't want to see 20 drop shippers. You want to see maybe 3 to 5 in that specific niche. And then you want to take all those brands, put it on your own list, call them, and try to close them to build your store. When you're first getting started, any supplier that will take you just take, because those will lead to the suppliers that are going to make you a lot of money. When you first get started, it's very unlikely that the first few suppliers you work with are going to be the real breadwinners. But, ultimately when you close a few, that will lead to, the real breadwinners, the top-notch suppliers. So it's like, that's how we do it, guys. The do's and don'ts, again, we don't sell high-end clothing. We don't sell high-end stuff from AliExpress. We don't try to sell technology. We don't sell Apple products or Sony. But what we do is we look for, brands in particular niches. Like, one example, it might be the bathroom niche, or, another niche maybe be like an outdoors type thing. And what we do is we look for authoritative brands in that particular niche. And essentially, you need that. Another don't is we don't sell, generic furniture. Don't think that you're gonna make it in this game selling, basic tables and basic chairs and basic couches. The only way to even get away with selling any part of any sort of furniture is if it's an authoritative brand that has some sort of uniqueness to it. The product needs to be different in some sort of way. The product cannot be bought locally. That's a key. A lot of the stuff that we sell just isn't even sold locally. There's really just no way to find it locally because it's just a unique product in a specific niche, and the brand has a name, and ultimately people Google that name and our websites come up at the top.
Exactly. And a couple points that I kind of want to hit on is Jared talked about the authoritative brands. And so something that we always tell our clients that we work with on their high ticket stores is that it's honestly better sometimes to, even if a product type is saturated, so something like fire pits, which is something that we sell in a couple of our stores, and clients that we work with also sell fire pits. It may be a saturated niche in terms of everyone wants to sell fire pits, but it's more so about the supplier itself. So if a supplier only has 3 or 4 retailers for their brand, then that is what really counts, because our ads we will target generic search terms. So if people search fire pits, all right, yes, that's going to be saturated and your cost per click is going to be a lot. But if you can find unique suppliers that people are searching for, then you'll be able to make money. You'll be able to oh my God, get the fucking shit out of your mouth. You'll be able to maintain profitability your first month launching and moving forward, if that makes sense. And the other thing that I wanted to touch upon is, I know we talked about Wayfair. And so Wayfair is the best place to get started when building your high ticket store from the ground up. And to go along with Wayfair, Wayfair, Home Depot, Lowe's, Build.com. These are all places that, for the most part, their online store is drop shipped. Now, the other part of that is not all of our suppliers and our stores are on these big box stores. So, you can take product types and now search Google and find all of these different suppliers. So now, even if, this supplier isn't on Wayfair, chances are they're still a great supplier and they can still sell. So, always be thinking outside of the box. Sometimes I'll even just take a look around in my room. I'll take a look outside and just, find things. If this product can be sold for $1,000 or more, then you can sell it pretty much on your online store.
Yeah. And, some other don'ts that are worth covering are, one, you can't really sell appliances, like refrigerators and lawn mowers and stuff like that. It's just it just doesn't happen. And 2, you want to look on Google and make sure there isn't 30 plus people selling that specific brand. I mean, people always ask us, do we look at how many searches the brand gets? Do we look at all the analytics of the brand? And the answer is no. We honestly don't. We look for brands that specifically have price products over $1,000, and then we look at the competition, and that's it. We don't overanalyze, because all those analytics does not mean that your site is going to be successful with the product. Even if that product is selling at a dangerously high rate, maybe there's so much competition that there's no room for you to get in. Maybe one company is just dominating that there's no room for you to get in. So the only way to really know is to just keep testing. We don't overanalyze because we don't like to waste time. We're action takers, and we want to find the answer as quickly as possible. For our ad methods, we don't have to spend that much to make sales. So, we just take action as quickly as possible. And if the supplier isn't producing results, we cut them. And if they are producing results, we scale them. We don't waste time overanalyzing, overthinking. We just get to the point. We think of the quickest path from A to B, and we take action. And that is what led us to owning 6 stores that do $1 million a month in sales. We don't think about it, because I'll tell you guys from my personal experience, and I know Mike the same thing, how many times that we thought we found it, like, Mike, how many times you said this supplier is going to make us a millionaire, and then the supplier stunk, More times than we can count.
It started with AliExpress when we were testing the products. I swear to God, there was probably a 2-month span. You know, I'd say we tested a product every single day. I'd be like, yo, Jack, this product is the one. I can feel it. And then it just transitioned over to the high ticket. I was like, this supplier is the one. But I do want to point out the discrepancy there, that testing high ticket suppliers and testing low ticket products are not the same.
No.
You know, so you are testing in a way, but it is much easier to stay profitable with high ticket just because the margins are so big.
Yeah. It's funny that, like, you know, it really isn't the same. You know, testing high ticket products and testing low ticket. When you test a low ticket product, you test one product with small margins on Facebook ads where people aren't likely to buy. When you test high ticket products, you test an entire catalog with big margins on Google ads where people are likely to buy. I was actually on the phone with a client today who was doing low ticket, and I pretty much told him, like, listen, you can continue trying, but in the end of the day, like, trying to succeed with low ticket is almost as hard as trying to become a famous rapper or a famous actor. Like, you're literally almost better off just taking acting classes and trying to be an actor, because your chances of success with low ticket are so slim that it's like the same percentage. Like, that's the thing. Even though they're both drop shipping, one game actually has a high chance of success and the other one doesn't. And, you know, ultimately, if you think logically, it's like Facebook ads versus Google ads. Well, people go on Facebook to read about their friends and family. People go on Google to shop. High ticket products versus low ticket. Well, I can spend $100 on ads and make one sale and be profitable, or I have to make sale every time I spend $10. Cheap plastic that no one needs, or a real product that people actually need. So it's like, just by thinking logically, it's like, it just makes so much more sense to be doing it the way we do it if you want to find success. You know, in my opinion, the only people that I know making money with low ticket are the people selling courses. I actually don't know a single human being actually making money with it. And, you know, we've been in the e-commerce game for a while.
Yeah, and just kind of circle back around, Jared, what you were talking about before, I actually think that we were on this call with the same client at the same time earlier. And he was talking about his low ticket store, and he was talking about how much research he did into, you know, the product type that he carried, you know, how much time he spent on copywriting for his ads, how much time he spent on his product page. And I simply said to him on the call, I was like, listen, if we're going to transition you over to high ticket, you just got to understand, and not even understand, you know, understand in a good way, that all that extra effort, all that analyzing, like Jared said, is just not necessary. No. You're selling established suppliers, established brands, established manufacturers, whatever you want to call it, they're established. So you don't need to write up this insane ad copy. You don't have to put together, you know, these crazy ad creative videos. Like, that's just not necessary. You know, like when you're signing on with these guys, these manufacturers, chances are they're established, you know, 95% of the time, and they have people searching for either their brand or their product types.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty awesome how they're just so, compared to creating a brand, there's just so little effort that is required to really make it win. And I don't want to say that, like, when I say effort, you know, obviously you're gonna have to put a lot of work in, but you're putting effort into different areas. Jared, I don't know if you kind of understand what I'm saying.
No, of course I understand. And I think one concept that's hard is that, you know, sometimes we have to straight up tell our clients, like, look, it's unfortunate, but you have to unlearn all the things that you learned, because unfortunately you learned the wrong strategy. And it's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, that they spent months and sometimes even years on a business that isn't working, and that, you know, they like to argue with us, but it's like, what are you arguing with? You know, the results speak for themselves. You know, there's a reason why you're contacting me and Mike, and it's because your business is struggling. And if you want to take our advice, take it. If you don't, then keep moving. You know, and one other concept I want to discuss in regards to the products we sell is we get everything for wholesale. So like I said, we don't take products on Wayfair and then upcharge it on our site. We actually call the brands. So after we find a brand we like, we will Google that brand. One, we will see how many people are selling it on Google Shopping, and two, we will go to their actual website, call them, and tell them we want to open up a wholesale account with them. So the price that we're going to get is going to be a retail price, because a lot of people ask, how do we profit? We get we sell it for retail and we buy it for wholesale. So the same way that brick and mortar store down the block from you, when they buy $100,000 worth of inventory, get a cheap price, we get a cheap price, but we don't have to buy all that inventory. We don't buy anything until after we sell it. So there's almost no risk. You know, in the business that we run, the most you could really lose is a few $100s, because, you know, if you're running ads and you don't make a sale within $300, then something's wrong. And when you're working with us, by the time you spend $300, it's very likely you will have made your first sale and probably be profitable, as long as the margins are, $500 to $1,000, like we typically recommend, or at the very minimum $300.
Yeah, I mean, and Google also gives you, they have a promo code. It gives you $200 worth of free ads, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure every store that we've launched, we have made a sale using that free Google ad spend, and I mean, we were profitable literally for the entire duration.
And then never look back. I mean, me and Mike have had many stores that have been in the red forever, never got out of the red, and our high ticket stores are honestly never got out of the green. I mean, that's the thing, there's so many businesses in the world today that are literally in debt and could just never get out of debt. And, certain businesses just are high likely chance of success, like I had someone once reach out to me and told me they want to develop their own software app. And, this is a young kid, he's like 18, 19. And I was like, dude, listen, I understand you have very high, dreams and goals, but for your first business, do you really think that's the most likely chance of success? Do you really think that a kid that has no money, no business experience is going to really develop a successful app? If you have an unbelievable idea and you have this burning desire that you have to do, then yeah, go ahead and do it. But if you're someone that wants to just become an entrepreneur, like that's what you want to do, then you want to pick a business. First, you want to find a mentor and work with them, and you want to make sure the business is a business that has a high chance of success. You want to work with someone that's already succeeding. If you think you're going to just develop this software, this app out of your ass and make it something huge, you got another thing coming to you. But if you want to just be an entrepreneur, then your best bet is to find someone who's successful in whatever field it is, whether it's real estate, drop shipping, Amazon, anything. Work with them. Listen to everything they say. Don't listen to the peanut gallery. In our last video, we talked about high income skills. You don't need to know every high income skill. You need to know one, and that's it. And you need to be amazing at that high income. I wish I brought that up in the last video, but you just need to know that one skill and be the best at it. So it's like, don't worry about joining Facebook groups or any of that. Listen to your mentors and only your mentors, because anytime you listen to anyone else, it's just gonna pull you in opposite directions. You need to go one way, you need to go straight, and you need to keep moving. And if you want to learn our strategies, then please, reach out to us. We're happy to mentor you.
Yeah, and I know, we said we were gonna give some product types, and so we will. I guess, Jared, me personally, I don't know if you have any off the top of the head. These are some that we have added to our sites and we've made sales with. Obviously these aren't our $1 million product types, but these are some very popular and kind of just examples of niches that you can go after, and literally find suppliers. And if, like I said, if it's a good supplier and they don't have too much competition, then you can become profitable pretty much right within your first couple $100s of ad spend. And so some that I thought of off the top of my head were, I think we talked about outdoor fire pits. And you'd be surprised. Like I said, it's a saturated niche, a product type, in the fact that there are so many suppliers out there who sell fire pits. It's all about finding the ones that, without not a lot of competition, that now you can sell. Another one that Jared and I have both sold on stores are gazebos. Gazebos, backyard gazebos, they usually go for anywhere from $3,000 up until like $8,000. This is something that you can sell.
Pizza ovens,
sheds, backyard sheds. There's another product type that I have on one of my stores, and it's profitable. It's not crazy profitable because the supplier doesn't enforce a MAP policy, but it's profitable. At the end of the day, if the supplier is profitable, then if you can pull a bunch of different suppliers to get you to 10K a month in profit, then it's fine. Jared has one of Jared's stores. He has one supplier that profits him, like 50K in the month, 40K in the month,
something like that.
And that's just insane. You can do it that way, or you could do it in the way where, like I said, instead of having one supplier pulling the weight, you could have 8 or 9 different suppliers who are bringing a couple $1,000s each, and that'll compound. You should definitely always strive for the second one, because the first one isn't something you can really control. It's kind of something that would just happen if you get lucky. Really all you have to do is just keep closing new suppliers. Once you get the hang of what we teach, once you learn our strategies, then it's just a numbers game. If you close 100 suppliers, then you're gonna have a booming business. And maybe one of them will bring in $40,000 a month, and then another one will bring in $2,000, another one will bring in $8,000, another one will bring in $10,000. Altogether, you're bringing in $100,000 a month profit. And that's what we do between our 6 stores. We have 6 stores in 6 different niches and work with over 100 suppliers. And
ultimately we do over $1 million in sales a month between all of those, and that's it. People, I have plenty of clients that are making, $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, $5,000 a month, and they're always asking me, what can I do to make more? And when me and Mike look at the ads, we make sure that you're scaling at the highest level possible, and then at that point, there's nothing else we can do except add new products. It's, you can only scale a certain product so far. Each individual product is only getting so many searches per Google per each individual product is only getting so many searches per month. So once we maximized, the impression share, then there's nothing really left to do except find new products. And one time I remember one of my good friend's stores was doing actually the same in sales as one of me and Mike's stores. And then what happened was me and Mike just kept closing new suppliers. And then 5 months later, now me and Mike's store is doing pretty much triple the sales as that other one. And my friend he doesn't understand why our store is doing triple the sales as him now. And I'm like, well, have you closed any new suppliers over the last few months? And the answer is no. And that's why, and then when you look at it, it's like one store has 10 suppliers running and the other one has 30. And it's, it's pretty common sense to see why one store is doing triple.
It's clear why, and that's a great point, Jared, is that I guess this maybe goes a little bit away from the supplier talk, but in general, if you put two people with the same exact skill set and the same exact knowledge against each other, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the work that you put in.
Yeah.
So I think, Jared, I think we have an example where you knew two people who started e-commerce at the same exact time. They came across this business model the same exact time. One of them didn't take action for the first 8 months. He knew all the information. He bought a course, didn't take any action. The same person bought the same exact course, took immediate and massive action, and within a year, his business was profiting $20K a month.
Yeah.
And that's just, like I said, it comes down to work ethic, comes down to how bad you want it at the end of the day. I mean, like we've said before, if you're a business owner, the failure and the success, it rises and falls on you. Which, if you're a person who's ready to accept that responsibility, then you just go with it and just run.
Yeah. And I mean, I love that you brought that scenario up because it's a great point. A lot of people always DM me asking how quickly can I see results in it? And there's no answer because in the end of the day, I don't know how hard you're going to work. But what I will say is that I don't know anybody that has listened to everything I said and put in months and hundreds of hours worth of work that isn't making money. I don't. The only people that I know that aren't making money using my strategies are the ones that aren't taking action with it. So if you're wondering, how long it would take to see results, you could make a sale within as quickly as 1 to 3 months, 6 to 12 months, or longer. It all comes down to how hard you want to work, and if you're willing to work your ass off for 8 hours a day, then you could realistically make a sale within a month. I've had a store that made a sale 26 days after we started it, because we worked our ass off and we knew what we were doing. And I mean, ultimately, when it's your 4th, 5th store, I mean, you could obviously move at a much quicker pace than your first store. But, don't worry about how quickly it's going to take to see results. Realistically, I would say, it's going to probably take you 6 to 12 months. But that's a very short time when you're talking about a business that's going to set you up for the rest of your life. Everybody wants to see results tomorrow. And you know what it is? If you want to see results tomorrow, you need to work today for months. And then eventually that tomorrow will come. Eventually, tomorrow will be the day that you launch your first ad. And then tomorrow will be the day that you make your first sale. Everyone thinks it's an overnight success. And I love the quote. It's like, it took me 5 years to be an overnight success. And it really is that way. So many people think that me and Mike are overnight successes. But we've been grinding at this stuff since 2016, 2015. We've been grinding at it since late 2015. It's 2020 now. And our stores are doing over $1 million a month in sales, So it took 5 years to be an overnight success.
5 years, 4 different business models, 10 different online websites. Like Jared said, I mean, if you think it's going to come easy, and I also hate the question of, how much money am I going to make, or how fast can I make money? When I hear those kind of questions, I just hear people wanting to get into entrepreneurship for the wrong reason.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
It's like, when you're just focusing on the money, you're not going to actually ever truly succeed, because you'll get to a point where you realize that, as corny as it sounds, money doesn't bring happiness. But what money can bring is time. I mean, I think obviously, time is the most important and the most valuable thing that money can really give you. But like I said, that's a whole different mindset video. We'll save that for another video. If you want to get into high ticket e-commerce, so you could have more money and you can buy a new car or a new Gucci belt,
Help your family.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's two different ways to look at it. Jared, is there anything else you wanted to add in terms of the suppliers?
No, I mean, listen, if you guys want to learn more, then you know where to find us. The link is above us. The link is below us.
We go more into depth on what to look for in suppliers inside the community. So if you guys are obviously seriously interested in high ticket drop shipping, obviously check us out at havemorethanmoney.com. If you like the video, swing us a like, subscribe for future videos, and if you want to see us touch upon a different aspect of high ticket drop shipping, please let us know in the comments and we'll definitely get to it.
Yeah, we need ideas.
Trust me, we need ideas.
All right.
We'll see you guys in the next video.